Here is another house that I am going to create a playlist for, even though I won't be providing you with anchor bolts for this one, and I won't be putting a lot of detail into the foundation or other parts of the house. If not, I will be using this design in a variety of different videos in the future, and will eventually have all of the videos in one playlist that you can watch for this particular house. And as you notice, no anchor bolts around the perimeter. However, we do have a garage door here and another door that you can go out into the backyard here in the back. And of course, the garage floor slab is sloping about 1/8 of an inch per foot. And here we have the slab extending out a little lower than the footings so that we won't end up with water going into the main building. And of course, our footings, we have larger footings around the perimeter. And since we are going to have load-bearing walls for the floor supporting the joist, we're going to need a footing down the center. However, I won't be putting any additional pads in or making sections of the footings larger in this area to support the stair beam, which will also be supporting a section of the floor. I would think that this should be enough for that. And the footing around the perimeter of the garage. This is a single-story garage. I don't need the large footings that we're going to have for the two-story part. Next up, let's go ahead and take a look at the lower wall framing. And we are going to have a two-car garage here, a laundry room here. Then we're going to have a bathroom, stairway, bedroom, living room, dining room, and a kitchen. And our front door and our back door. And of course, our large garage door here so that we can get the cars in there. And then a window for the bedroom, front door, and then a couple of windows here for the living room in the corner, dining room here. And then we are going to have a closet underneath the stairs. Back door, kitchen window. This window is going to be over the sink. And of course, our back door and a window for the laundry area. And since this is lower here, we're going to need to lower our header over here. And we can also lower the window in the garage. And we're just going to lower it the distance that we have here. Let's go ahead and zoom in on this area here where you can see the drop down along with the slab extension going over the doorway. And here's a view of the two headers here, the door and the window, going to be a little bit lower than these three openings here. Next up, let's go ahead and head over to the laundry room and the entrance from the garage into the house. Going to have a washer and a dryer over here, a cabinet, and then a bathroom here with a bathtub. And then our stairwell here. And of course, we have a medicine cabinet here. That's always nice to have in a bathroom, even though I don't know if they're a big deal anymore. I like to put them in if I can. And of course, our door going underneath the stairway for a closet, additional storage. And then our closet for our bedroom, along with the door going into the bedroom. And we will be building a 2x6 wall here with a window to give us some light into the stairwell. And we could lower the window if the slope of the roof allowed us to. It's not going to allow us to lower it much in this design. And of course, our front door, corner windows here. And if you notice, the header on this side's a little bit larger, and that's because the floor and the roof will be sitting on that section of the building. Again, more stuff that I will be going over in future videos. Next up, let's go ahead and throw some floor joist in here. And we're going to be using 14-inch TJIs or truss joist. And the joist will be spaced 16 inches on center. I do not have any of the joists doubled up for walls that are going to be running parallel to them yet, or any plumbing in this design. And here you can see where the blocks are going over the load-bearing wall, even though the joists aren't breaking. Over the load-bearing wall, this wall here is still being used to break up the span for the joist. And I will be going over more of that later. And our stairwell here along with our beam. And I've positioned the beam in a way to where we can use it better for the stairway. However, I will be changing stuff up in future videos and changing the layout of the stairs and possibly the design of the stairs, along with how it's going to connect to the floor framing. And I will also be providing you with some plumbing videos. So let's go ahead and zoom in on the header here. where we have a double stud underneath this side, and of course this one here is going over the wall. I have the beam connecting to this joist and to this joist, and I like to do that if I have enough length in the beam. And our stairs currently have an 11-inch step with no nosing, and this allows me to flush up the step in the landing. I can just run it straight through instead of offsetting it a little bit and then adding the nosing to it. And of course our window for the stairwell along with our fire blocks, and these blocks will also help for the nailing of the floor trim. And this is actually what I thought they were used for when I first started building stairs, only to find out later that they were meant to be used as fire blocks to prevent oxygen and fire from going from one point to another point. And of course I have the closet for storage going underneath the landing, and of course I could install a beam here at the top and have the closet go all the way under the stairs if I wanted more storage. So here you can see where it's coming into this area here but going no further there. And of course our blocks and our support studs that are going to help to support the landing. And again, for those of you who might have missed it, this is the only 2x6 wall we're going to have in the building. However, you could always change your design to have 2x6 in the bathroom plumbing walls. Next up, let's go ahead and install our floor sheathing. And since everything is 16 inches on center, you can see it looks pretty good except for this point right here. And you might need to install blocks here in the sheathing and adjust the floor joist layout, or even add another joist if this needs to have a 2-inch minimum width here. And that could be the same over here. And again, I'll be going over that hopefully in future videos. Let's go ahead and install the upper framing. We have bedroom here, bedroom, office, and a bedroom. This does not have a closet. However, you could always install a closet. And the entrance into the office area or a den. And then our bathroom window is going to be a little smaller here. And we won't have a bathroom window downstairs because of the way the bathroom is going to be located in the building. Another window in the corner here of the upper floor. And then our door going into this bedroom, closet door here going into the closet. And we basically have the same situation over here. We're coming in here to the bedroom with a closet over here. Except we are going to have a little jog here in the framing. And we're going to need to make sure with this design that this is long enough. I've actually came to some houses where you couldn't open the door all the way because there wasn't enough foresight to figure that out, or somebody went ahead and installed a larger door. I don't know which it would have been. And of course the opening into the other bedroom, or the door into the other bedroom, and then a large closet. Next up, let's go ahead and take a look at our linen closet. And you could always make this a little shorter and make this closet a little longer by simply moving this wall here and not this one. So we would move this wall here and then not this one here. This one will need to be located about where it's at to allow for the door to open. And what I like about this design is that you come up the stairs and you don't have a large hallway or wasted hallway space. And you don't need to go very far out of the bedrooms to get to the bathroom. And the bathroom's also going to be a little bit closer for anyone who needs to come upstairs to use the bathroom because the lower bathroom might be occupied. And this should give you a pretty good idea why I positioned the windows like I did. We're not going to be able to go much lower before we hit the roof. And of course, you could always change the pitch of the garage roof. You can make it a little lower if you needed to lower the window sills. Next up, our garage roof. We're going to be using trusses, 24 inches on center. And we're going to have a 4-12 pitch on both the bottom and the top. Let's go ahead and install the fascia board for the garage. And since we're using 2x4 for our top cords in the trusses, we can use 2x6 for our fascia board. And of course our 2x4 lookouts here so that we can provide some cantilever support for the fascia board. And these are usually spaced 32 inches on center. And then, of course, our little roof extension here. Next up, let's go ahead and zoom over to the front of the garage and take a look at how the fascia board dies into the building here. And since we have about 21.5 feet for the fascia board, we're probably going to have to put a break in it. However, some areas actually do sell 22-foot fascia board if you don't want the break in it, and it's available in your area. The main roof, again, 4 and 12 roof pitch with 2x6 fascia, 24-inch on center truss spacing, and of course our gable roof truss. Remember, this sits on top of the framing plates, unlike the trusses on the inside of the house that might require a 1x4 for all of the walls that run perpendicular to it. And I went ahead and left mine at 2x4s because I've seen that lately. And you would need to check with a roof truss manufacturing company to verify whether or not this would need to be 3/4 of an inch instead of 1.5 inches. And I believe someone just asked me recently if they could install a lag screw or a screw from the bottom of the framing plates into the bottom of the truss or the lower cord. And that probably won't work if you're watching this video, because the trusses need to be able to move up and down until all of the weight from the roofing materials, drywall, everything has put the bottom cord into its final position, or hopefully its final position. And of course, we're going to need a brace here along with our spacer boards. These boards will allow us to correctly position the bottom cords of the truss. If we didn't put those boards in, then we could have a problem with our trusses bowing or moving from one side to the other. And of course, all of our ceiling backing in here. And I get pretty creative with the backing. And I'm not about to suggest nobody does what I do. I just can't believe how many people don't do certain things that can make their job easier and make the building stronger. Next up, let's go ahead and install our roof sheathing. Take a tour of the building here and go ahead and wrap the video up by suggesting to leave any questions you have about the video or the assembly process of a building like this in the video comment area. And don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Let us know if you want to see more videos like these and whether or not you might want to see smaller homes or even larger homes than this one here.